Hello, stranger. It's been a minute.
What do you do? What's up? It's your girl, Gama, the girl your girl will never be, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Welcome to another video, and welcome to my very first story time. I'm re-recording this intro while I'm editing because I realized that my intro is not playing. I don't know what's going on with it, but it's not playing. So I just want to tell you that what do you do, baby, and enjoy the video. Unfortunately, it wasn't recording, guys, and I was in it. Hey, I was really in it. Anyway, so there were two guys, and one is Guluva, one is Pete. That's what we're gonna call them, Guluva and Pete. So Guluva is from the south. Guluva and I met on Instagram. We started talking on Instagram, and let me just switch off this. So Guluva and I met on Instagram, and and he DM'd me, and we started talking on DMs for like 3 months. Then after 3 months, we moved to app and on WhatsApp. After 5 months, I think, of our talking stage, we started dating. We made it official. Cool. It was long distance. I mean, he's in the south and I'm in the north. Then Pete and I met on Instagram as well. He DM'd me. He wasn't consistent though. Like, we used to talk about like things. He would scratch my brain. That's what he does. Like, he would I don't know if it's like, yeah, he would scratch my brain a lot. Like, so he would ask me questions that would get me thinking, and like maybe we would debate about, or we would, he would want to see where your headspace is at. So he would do that. So it wasn't consistent. Like, obviously he would ask me, then disappear, then ask me, then disappear, maybe comment on my pictures, and then that's how it was between him and I. Cool. So Guluva. Oh, and Pete is from the east, so I like them far. I'm joking. So Pete is from the east. Guluva had tendencies of disappearing, actually. Hey, he had tendencies of, like, during our relationship, he would just go MIA. When he comes back, he will explain to me why he disappeared. So every time he disappeared, I wouldn't know why he disappeared, but every time he came back, I knew. And guess what? I was the understanding girlfriend. It's okay. I like it. Sharp. I'd forgive him, hey? He's my man, I'd forgive him. He had tendencies of disappearing, and I was so used to it. Then this one time he disappeared, and it was in October. So from here, I'll give you a timeline. So on the 1st of October, he disappeared. And when he disappeared, I was down bad. I was like, I am tired of this. I am done. This is the last time. When he comes back, I'm not even gonna forgive him, right? And I meant it. I really meant it. Like, I was down bad, guys. I even attended therapy, but it was not just because of him. Just, I was going through my own things. But and then when he disappeared, it just made things worse for me. Like, now I'm stressed. It's my relationship, is my life, is my everything in J. You see. So now I start attending therapy. He disappears, and while he disappears, I keep talking to Pete, like, on Instagram. Like, again, like I said, it was inconsistent. We weren't talking every day. So this one time I couldn't sleep, and we were talking on Instagram, Pete and I, and I was like, hey Pete, can I call you? And he's like, yeah, sure. Do you want to call me via Instagram, app, or direct call? I'm like, whichever one you're comfortable with. He's like, let me give you my app number. He gave me his WhatsApp number, and we called. We went on a call and we spoke. It was awkward the first few minutes, but like, I mean, he just, the conversation just started. We spoke until I was tired, and I'm like, look, now I'm going to sleep. You see. Then that one call led to other calls, and then led to other calls until it became a talking stage. You see. So now Pete and I in the talking stage. I loved how Pete made me feel. Hey, I loved how Pete made me feel. Pete and I talked for like from October. We started talking from like end of September. Like, end of September was where he used to, like, he started, like, and then October was when he would also again anger, and then now that's when Guluva disappeared. Then now Guluva disappears, then that leads to a call, and then now we're talking every day. So the whole month of October we're talking. So, but there will be days where I'll just distance myself, and then, like, I remind myself, I'm like, I'm from a relationship, I don't want to do this again, you see. So I'll just take a step back, and then he would complain. He'd be like, "And why do you do that?" And then, but I had explained to him like my situation. I'm like, no, I had a boyfriend that just disappeared, and then he was like to me, "It's okay, like you know, if you're not trying to get into anything, that's alright, you see. So he did Nasang Jari, like he was very understanding. That's why I loved it so much. But anyway, so yeah, Peter and I now were on a talking stage, a very serious talking stage. And then eventually, I don't want to explain the whole story as to like the whole story. It's gonna take forever. But eventually Gluba came back on the 1st of November. But he came back but he came back very weirdly, ne? Let me tell you how Gluba came back. Gluba now, I see Gluba, I had done my hair that November. I remember it was first week of November because I was going to my grandmother's birthday party. So Gluba now, he gets back into my, like he starts viewing my Instagram stories. I remember I had done my hair, right? And I had posted a video. And then he views my story, but he views my story with a different account. So but I can see by his profile that this is a profile Gluva had, but it's just a different color. So the first one with his first account, it was red, and then this one it's yellow. So I'm like, I click into it, I see the name, and I'm like, this is the name Gluva uses. How come I don't know of this account? And it has more followers than that one. So that means this is the account that has always been there. He DM'd me with his other account. How come this one has like 5k followers? And that first account only had 1k followers. So it didn't make sense to me, you see. Because that, the 1k account followed me. It's not a Finsta, but let's call it a Finsta. Because nothing was ever posted on that account. It was just a backup account. His backup account had 100 followers, I don't remember, but it wasn't 100 followers. And then this one is on 5k followers. I'm like, ay. How come this one is on 5k followers? So this is account that has always been there. Hi man. No guys, make it make sense. No, please explain to me what's going on. What? Must play it from the beginning. Unless they put followers on that account, yeah, 5k. I get, because now I don't 2k followers. I'm just saying. I'm not gonna DM him until he DMs me back. I leave it. The next day, I post on purpose to see if he's gonna view it again. He views, and I don't remember what I posted, but it's not important. He views my story again, and then he DMs me and he says, I'm glad to see that you're doing okay. And I'm like, the audacity. He's like, I know you have a lot of questions. He's like, I'm like, yeah, of course I have a lot of questions. Mind you, I'm here talking to my ex while I have a talking stage. But for me, ne, I don't care what you say. I don't care. It was valid for me to talk to the person. It was very valid for me to talk to the person. So, because I'm trying to understand, you know, I don't believe in closure, but I don't believe in closure. I'm not 1% that believes in closure, but at that time I felt like I needed closure. Like, I need to understand why you disappeared. Like, every day, when? Oh, wow, nah. He's like, I know you have a lot of questions. I'm like, I have a lot of. He's like, I'll explain to you when the time is right. Right now, the time is not right. I'm like, okay, cool. I leave him. Then there's one time he calls me, and when he calls me, we start talking again. Like, he calls me and like with his phone number, and he explains to me what. No, I'm lying. Then while I was in Northwest for my grandmother's birthday, remember I said I did my hair to go to Northwest. While I was in Northwest, he texted me and he explained to me what happened on Instagram. He explained to me what happened. Okay, I don't even want to talk about that. Like, just thinking about it right now, that what he told me was just okay. So that happened. Then I explained to my talking stage to Pete, and I'm like, Pete, you know, he texted me and he explained to me what happened, and as much as I would like to tell you what happened, I can't, but just know that he texted me and he told me what happened. And then he's like, okay, so should I be prepared to like disappear because now he's back? And I'm like, no, don't go anywhere. You're not going anywhere. He can go. I'm not trying to get back with him. And he's like, I hope you're not just saying that because you're trying to protect my feelings. And I'm like, nah, I mean it, because I really liked him, but I hadn't told him. I think my actions were enough. I had one thing about me and feelings. So I hadn't told him that I like you. Sharp. Guluva and I now we're back on app. Like, we have each other's numbers again, but we're just not talking. He would check up on me, and you know, but like we weren't really talking. Like, talking as in like calls, like back, like we weren't like that again, like, but he had my number. That it was a thing. Obviously I still cared about him, you know, so if ever he wants to talk about something, he can always talk to me. I'm not gonna just drop him like that, but like we weren't talking, you see. So I had told Pete, and I'm like, look Pete, I still have his number now I have his number, and he has my number too, and I had his little brother's number, I had Guluva's little brother's number, and I'm like, I have all their numbers now, so I don't know what must happen. And then he's like to me, look dude, I hope like you guys are not talking about getting back together or anything, because if you guys are talking about that, then you can just leave me out of the equation. I'm like, no, that hasn't been a conversation yet. And he's like, okay, cool, sure, we leave it, right? Guluva and I, like I said, I'm making it clear right now, Guluva and I didn't get back together. Guluva and I went, there was no hey, we're back together. It was just he just came back into my life, right? That's it. Hey, fast forward, now let's jump to where this thing happened. So now we're in December, and Peter and I are now official. And like, the kids in the street are making a noise. I'm so sorry. Like, I can't sit in the house. There's bad lighting, and my ring light, I still haven't put in my ring light. So Peter and I are now official. We made it official mid-November. So it was a week before the 16th. A week before the 16th, Pete calls me. Now, baby one phone. Pete calls me and he's like to me, hey, like we just talk, we catch up on our day. And then he's like to me, you know, my boys actually wanted to call you today. And I'm like, why? He's like to me, because we were doing, like, it's long distance. Remember, he's from the east and I'm the side, so it's long distance. He's like to me, my boys wanted to call me, and at this time we hadn't met. Him and I hadn't met. So he's like, my boys wanted to call you actually. And I'm like, why? He's like, they wanted to test you and see, like, they wanted to ask, like, who's your boyfriend, and they wanted to see what your response would be, especially because we haven't met and all of that. And then I'm like, why didn't you give them my number to do it? He's like to me, I wasn't ready for the response. And I'm like, why? Because we're dating, are we not? And he's like, we are, but still, like, you can't help but have those thoughts at the back of your mind that, what if he doesn't say my name, you know? And then I'm like, well, okay, valid. He's like, yo, bet 500 rand, bet 500 rand, and But then I was about to give them your number, and then I refused. And I'm like, give it 500, give it 500. And then he's like to me, yeah, we hadn't met, guys, because of certain circumstances. And then he's like to me, don't worry, next time if they actually want to do it, I'll actually give them your number. And I'm like, okay, cool. A week later, got the 15th of December, I'm doing my hair, because on the 16th I was going to my wedding with my mom. So on the 15th of December, I do my hair. While I'm doing my hair, bang locha, I get a call, and I answer, hello, hey. So we'll give this guy the name Jacob. He's like, hi, this is Jacob from Red Entertainment. I forgot what he said, entertainment what? Like, from Red Entertainment. And I'm standing here with your boyfriend. Your boyfriend is looking at 5,000 rand, and all you have to do is say his name. All I have to do is what? Say his name. And then I'm like, how much is he looking at? Like 5,000 rand. I laugh, guys, I laugh, and I'm like, hey man. Then I remember, no man, remember a week ago, Pete called me and said to me that his friends wanted to do that. I'm like, this is the time now. Me and Upi, we are gonna eat money, we're gonna spend money. And then I'm like, he's looking at 5,000 rand, he's there right now. He's like, yes. And I'm like, can I talk to him? He's like, no. They're like, no, you just need to say his name. And I'm like, okay, cool. So let's just say his name. So I laugh. And he's like, yeah. And then I'm like, okay, well, his name is Pete. They go, Pete! Ah, Pete! You see, now, give that thing, yeah. My man is gonna spend 5,000 rand now. He won 5,000 rand. The way they were making a noise, guys, they were making a noise to, like, it sounded like as if I gave the right answer. Like, you know, I mean, I did give the right answer, but like, you know, like, they were beat, beat, and then they hung up. I laugh and I text Pete and I'm like, he was offline because I remember that day he did say that he was going to his friends. That's why, you see. So now I text him and I'm like, I want my share of the money. And then, right after I send that text to Pete, ding, notification, Guluva, video. I press on that video, I download the video, and I watch it. Guess who's talking? Me. Did Guluva not record a video of his friends talking to me, calling me about, asking me about 5,000 rand and my boyfriend? Was it not Guluva and his friends that did that? Was it not Guluva and his friends that called me? Now I want to style like in still. Style like in clown walking. Did Guluva not call me, guys? I'm listening to the video, guys. If I'm brave enough, I'll put the video here. Oh, even if I don't put the video, I'll put the audio. I still have the video. I remember I sent it to Pete, ne? I still there by my chat with Pete. I'll put the video here if I'm brave. Mama, can I imagine? The speed I have is to tell the story. I don't know if I want you to hear what happened in the call, but I'll put it here. I'll just put it here just so. If I'm brave, guys, I'll just put the audio so you listen to it. But like,
tell me. Ke move for 5 tower. Ke we shebile no. What's my out to spend alone? That's what he told me.
You want to know his name?
Yeah, I want just his name. Confirmation LB2.
guys, I said Pete's name in the call. I'm like to Pete. I'm like to Guluva. Oh, Kanti, it was you. He's like, have a nice life with Upit. I'm like, Mara, no. Like, I didn't know that it was you. Like, why am I still explaining myself to him? Hey, Mara, wena kamu. Hey, Mara, nawe. Hey, man. Hey, Mara. Yes, hi, Mara, hey. Hey, wena. He starts typing. He's like to me, I'm embarrassed. I embarrassed him in front of his friends. I did this. I'm like, who said you must call now? I'm like, who said you must call? Oh, no. He's like, now he's embarrassed. Like, first of all, I want my kenna. Labi tu so no se batlo to screen. So no se batlo to screen. Whatever you were looking for, you got it. And get why no Thomas. Who's that call me? Our my kenna pale. And like he goes on and he starts expressing how he's feeling about that, and you know, I leave it. I'm just like, oh, sorry. I'm like, hi, sorry. Then I don't tell Pete about it, right? I don't tell Pete about it. I didn't tell Pete about it because prior to that, like, there was just a lot happening in terms of Guluva, me, Pete, you know. So I didn't want it, whatever happens, like, I didn't want Guluva to always be a constant problem in my relationship with Pete. So I tried not to talk about Pete as much as I could, right? I tried not to involve, like, if Pete texted, I tried not to say anything to Guluva. Like, I'll just keep, I mean, if Guluva texted, I try not to say anything to Pete about it. I'll just keep quiet and brush it off, like, you know. Like, I didn't want it to be as if, like, now we're gonna start having problems because of Pete. Because of Guluva. Now I'm confusing the two. You see, so I didn't say anything to Guluva, to Pete about Guluva, and I didn't say anything to Guluva about Pete. There's no reason for me to say anything to Guluva about Pete, but there was every reason to say something to Pete about Guluva. But it's a week or two after the incident, and I was in Northwest at this time. I had gone for like my holidays, like, but December no. Go holidaying, and I got a text from Guluva, and he's like to me, he low-key misses me. And then I'm like, oh yeah? He's like, yeah, but I want you to explain to me what happened or what is happening. Did you move on with life? What's going on? And then I'm like, hey, he goes back to the whole call thing, and he's like, but Kamu, like, one thing about Guluva and I loved each other. Guluva was obsessed, and I was obsessed with him back. So I think he was still holding on to what we had. And maybe Nama was holding on a little, but I was slowly letting go because I was loving what I was having this side. Like, I didn't want to let go of beat. Like, I didn't want to let go of beat. But obviously there will always be like some care for Uguluva, you see. But then beat I was gone. If you know me, if you're my friend, you know how gone I was. Guluva now is like to me, just explain to me what happened. He just wants closure from the whole thing. I'm like, okay, what do you want to know? He's like to me, did Pete really call you and tell you about it? I'm like, yes. Tell you that his friends are gonna call you? And I'm like, yes, he did. He's like, is there proof of the call? And I'm like, yeah, there's proof of the call because he called me that other week on a certain day. I just forgot the day. He's like, show me. Hey, Linda Styler, got screenshot. And then I hide Guluva's I hide Pete's number, and then I send it to him, and then he's like, I'm like, yeah. He's like to me, okay. He's like, I want to see his number. I'm like, I want, yeah. He's like, I'm like, yeah. What? He's like, I want to see his number. I'm like, for what? He's like, no, I want to see his number. I want to see this. I'm like, what are you gonna do with my boyfriend's number? He's like to me, no, I didn't say he's my boyfriend at that time actually to him. I just said, what are you going to do with his number? Because, like I said, I know what Guluva is capable of. I know what Guluva is capable of. Like, guys, I didn't give him the name Guluva for nothing. I know what he's capable of. And I didn't want to implicate, like, I didn't want Upi to be a part of all of that because I didn't want Pete in that, guys. Like, so now I start fighting with Guluva. I'm like, I'm not gonna give you his number. Like, I'm not gonna give you his number. And then he's like to me, why don't you want to give me his number? Why don't you want to give? I'm like, what are you gonna do with his number after you get it? He's like, I wanna ask him and talk to him and ask him, what is he doing with you? I'm like, what does that have to do with you? He's like, when you and I said forever, yena, to each other, it was nice. Now I'm trying to keep my forever. And my forever is trying to move on with someone else. I thought you and I were infinity. And I'm like, hi. I thought that until you disappeared. And you know, you blame me for your disappearance. My phone's moving. You're disappearing, you know. Like I said, I don't want to talk about what happened because young Watisa. And then one thing about Guluva, he was very manipulative. You guys, I'm still gonna tell you stories about Guluva. Forever. I'm not gonna let go of you just like that. And I'm like, Baba, do that. He's like, no. He's like, give me his number. He calls me and he's telling me, come give me his number right now. And I'm like, guys, shut up, I'll give me his number. Guess what I did?
Hello, stranger. It's been a minute.